things to others. And if we have, if we are in the position of an authoritative role, like parents or elder siblings, or um, maybe as a shiksha guru or like that, then we have to give instructions. Of course, we have to. But then beyond our area of influence, parodesh is sometimes not needed and maybe not required, but it has become common, isn't it? Especially with the world of internet and social media, where we can often sit behind the screens and type instructions to the entire world, actually write commentaries. One saint was saying that instead of giving tika, tippani, or commentary to any situation of the world and anybody and everybody who are beyond our region or circle of influence, why don't just read the commentaries of all the acharyas? They have written on Bhagavad Gita, they have written on Srimad Bhagavatam. So this Sanskrit saying is saying that Paropdesh is easy. What is difficult? Dharme swayam anushtanam kasyachit sumahatmanaha. That it takes a great person to focus on himself or herself, focusing basically on the heart. Why is that important? Because when a devotee, a practitioner, gets into the mode of doing tika, tippani, commentary on everything and every person and everywhere, it generates rag and dvesh in the heart. Rag and dvesh means love and hate, attachment and detachment, attachment and aversion. And that just disrupts the field of the heart where the root of bhakti has to germinate. It's also said, protect, protect, protect. Rakshata, rakshata, rakshata. What? The treasure of all the treasures. Koshanam api kosham. What is the treasure of the treasures? Hridayam, heart. Okay, what will happen when you protect the heart? Yasmin surakshite sati sarvam surakshitam syat. If it is protected, everything else is protected. Everything else is a detail. Because it's only in that protected heart, which is not having rag and dvesh, that we can even think about bringing a seed of Vraj Bhakti or seed of devotional relationship towards Krishna. What is Vraj Bhakti in a nutshell? It's hankering for a relationship with Krishna. First hankering and then cultivating a personal relationship with Krishna in all the four rasas, Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya, Madhurya in Vrindavan. This dealing with this tika tippani and not getting into the argument is so very important that our Acharya, Narad Muni, specified this clearly in his Narada Bhakti Sutras. These Narad Bhakti Sutras are 84 small slogans encapsulating the philosophy of bhakti. And when did he write these sutras? In his ecstasy of the most uber experience which somebody can get in bhakti, the mood, the experience of the way gopis serve Krishna. So Narad Muni wanted to experience the love of the gopis, and he goes to Purnamasi, and Purnamasi tells, well, you have to become a gopi for that. Who is Purnamasi? Purnamasi is mother of Krishna's guru. Who is Krishna's guru? Sandipani Muni. And it is Sandipani Muni in Ujjain, Avantipur, who has one daughter and one son. The son name is Madhumangal, the favorite Krishna's Priya Narma Sakha. Priya means dear, Narm means who knows the confidentiality, and he jokes a lot. But his joking is not like the Shakespearean play Joker joking, because there it is all stupid jokes. He is very wise. He can make double statements and give pleasure to Gopas and Gopis and the parents. He tells Krishna, Krishna, you never killed Putana. So Krishna said, how come you say that? I was such a small child and I killed it. He said, precisely, you were such a small child. How can you kill Krishna? Then Krishna said, who killed him? Who killed her, Putana? Madhumangal says, I killed. Krishna says, please give your purport. He says that, well, how can somebody kill a big demoness by just sucking the milk? She had lot of breaths remaining. So after she had fallen, she was still alive, and I got few of the dandas, and I gave her slaps left and right, and that's how she left the body. So it is I who did the finale. So hence I am the killer of Bhutma. So on and so forth. This is Madhumangal. Purnamasi brings Madhumangal and Nandi Mukhi to Vrindavan so that they can participate in Krishna's Leela, and she is Yogamaya, one who orchestrates Krishna's pastimes. In Krishna's pastimes, she is in an old form, she has white hair, and she's extremely beautiful, and she wears red ochre colored garments like a sannyasini. So Narada Muni comes to her and she says, well, go to the Narada Kund and dip inside the Kund. Narada does it and he becomes Naradiya Gopi. All right. Now he gets the vision of the experience of Gopi's devotional service. Krishna comes and says, okay, now you got the experience. Now you have to write about it. But Narad said, I was cursed. I was cursed that I cannot be in one place for a longer duration. Daksha cursed me. I made their 10,000 sons, Haryashvas, into brahmacharis by telling them riddles. Then when another set of sons of Daksha, 1,000 of them called Shabalashvas, they came, I didn't tell them any riddle. I just told them, look at your brothers, 10,000 of them. They left. What should you do? So Shabalash was also left. Finally, he was cursed by Daksha that you cannot stay in one place for a long time. But Krishna told Narad Muni, don't worry. Nothing works in Vrindavan. Vrindavan, it's our rule or Radharani's rule. So you just be here and write Narada Bhakti Sutras. So this is our Acharya Narad Muni, who goes around preaching to everybody in different ways. To some he will make riddles, to some he will preach directly, to some he will show a vision like he shows to Mrigari. Yet he's telling in his Narada Bhakti Sutras, what is he telling? Vado navalambhyaha. Vado, argument. Never take shelter of argument. Never get into the habit of just, oh, X person is there, Y person is there, Z situation is there, and I can just freely do commentary on it. Narad Muni is saying, no, that will just destroy the field of heart, because it will corrupt the field of heart with the goats and the mad elephants of Rag and Dvesha. They will just destroy the field. So don't do it. This is the first, you can say, step in approaching Vraja Bhakti. We have different talents, skills, situations, resources in life, but all of them are useful in so far as they contribute to this protected environment of our heart, which is free of rag and dvesh. And as we can say in Hindi, halka phulka hai. It's light. In fact, that's the purpose of a sadhu also. When you come in the association of a sadhu, if you become light-hearted, then that's the proof that he or she is a sadhu or a sadhvi. In fact, all the different things which we sometimes hanker for in bhakti, that we must do this, we must do that, also called in the modern language as FOMO, fear of missing out, we might have done already. We might have done that in previous lives. As we can say in Hindi, humne sab ghat ka pani piya. We have drunk water from all the banks. To give you an example, suppose somebody wants to learn languages, Bengali, Sanskrit, Braj Bhasha, and things like that. It's good, we can learn. Some of us are learning because it helps in service. But one must not become hung up about it. Why? Because the very fact that we have come in the association of devotees and we are chanting Hare Krishna, Hare. Now, if I know I'm in the Zoom and I'm just seeing myself, you can also feel free if it is a possibility to open your videos. But if not, at least you can chant along with me. If I'm in the person, then we do often, um, like musical kirtans in the middle, so that it creates the mood of Sankirtan. So just the fact that we are chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, we have done a lot of things in the past. Kapila Muni is telling Devahuti about it. Aho bata swapachote gariyan yad jivagre vartate namatubhyam. Yad jivagre, to that person, for that person on whose tongue's tip your holy name is there, not on the tongue. Sometimes when we are getting the taste of Harinam, we are chanting it like as though we are eating mango ice cream. So, but we may be having just at the tip of our tongue. That's enough. Kapila Muni is saying, Te pusta puste juhvasasnurarya brahmanuchur nam grananti ete. That they have done all the yagyas in the past. Now, doing yagyas means we would be knowing Sanskrit, isn't it? So, in one sense, we can just pat our backs that we knew it. Maybe in this life not, but in the previous life we have. So if any skill, any talent contributes to creating that environment of the heart which is beyond rag and dvesh, then it's good. Otherwise, it's just a burden. And this is the first step to approach the Vraj Bhakti. In a very classical way, we can present this through a wonderful story, which I don't know if you have heard already. Maybe just to see if devotees are with me, um, I can ask a simple question. Srila Prabhupada, in a book called Nectar of Devotion, which he says would be the law book, he mentions the name of a saint in Vrindavan, who is not a Goswami, who is not fixed Goswami or any other in our parampara, but he mentions about this saint in Nectar of Devotion and glorifies him. Can anybody um, type or write or just unmute them and say about whom I'm talking about? One saint which Prabhupada talks about in Nectar of Devotion. I can give a hint that his last name ends with Babu. Any guesses? Okay, maybe I'll say his name is Lala Babu. Lala Babu was a great, he was a son of a great zamindar or a businessman in Bengal, and he bequeathed a lot of properties. As he bequeathed a lot of properties, naturally his business then expanded and things like that. And his he had everything, but he did not have a protected heart. Naturally, he was dealing with a lot of people, but his heart had rag and dvesh, and he was dissatisfied. All of us have that feeling. We are all conscientious human beings, and we find that if some rag and dvesh enters in our heart, attachment towards somebody or aversion towards somebody, and if it is unhealthy, it pinches our heart. So it was pinching his heart, and something was just not right. And Krishna bestowed him, or rather Radharani bestowed him, a teachable moment. What's a teachable moment? His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu explains this nicely, that in our life we might get only few teachable moments where the universe is really open and our heart is open, and if we grab that teachable moment, we can make tangible changes in our life. We get many opportunities of rag and dvesh in our lives. In fact, they are strewn for free. Take it. But the teachable moments which are laden with vairag. What is vairag? Some people say it is detachment from the material life, but other people mention vairag as vishesh rag or a special rag towards spirituality, Krishna and Radha. So one fine day, our Lala Babu got this teachable moment. He was doing good, 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 good. People who are from Bengal will identify this as hookah, the traditional smoking pot. So he was going in a palanquin, all perfect paraphernalia for a person of his stature, and he was not sipping, he was whatever, smoking the hookah. And somewhere from behind, or somewhere from the house which he was crossing, from little bit distance away, a sound came of a lady in Bengali. She said, "Oh, Babu Moshai, samay shesh hoi gelo. Oh, Babu, the time is over." Now, because somehow he recognized this as a teachable moment, he thought that it is Sri Radharani who is saying, "Oh, Babu, oh, Lala Babu, the time is up." He thought, if the time is up, what am I doing here? He immediately got a jolt of Virag. He left for Vrindavan. Lala Babu comes to Vrindavan, starts serving the Vrindavan, but he felt, how can I serve? He finds that all the different temples of Vrindavan are in a state of shambles, broken state. So he sells all his property in Bengal, gets the money, and starts rejuvenating, or you can say, in Hindi we call it Jeernodhar, refurbishing all the different ghats of Yamuna and the temples. So here is a person who gets this teachable moment of Virag, rushes to Vrindavan, starts constructing or reconstructing all the different temples, and then he gets an inspiration also let me construct a unique temple in Vrindavan. And in this sense, Srila Prabhupada quotes Lala Babu in Nectar of Devotion, that here was this person who sold off everything and constructed this beautiful temple of, you can remember this, next time you go, you can take a darshan. It's called Krishna Chandrama temple. Krishna Chandrama, tall deity of Krishna, blackish complexion, Radharani with beautiful dancing pose, and Lalita. Not many people go there. But if you have to buy good mridangas in Vrindavan, Lala Babu temple's courtyard is the best place. Near to the Lala Babu temple is also very tall deity of Hanumanji. And inside the temple, if you're not finding people, you might find a small girl sitting and doing reading of Bhagavatam all alone. She's speaking to no one. Maybe she's seeing something which we don't see, or she's feeling this environment of Vrindavan. This Lala Babu temple lies in the olden part of Vrindavan near the Govind Dev temple. Lala Babu was happy. He thought he has done everything now. So all the wealth has been put to great use, and now he can go to his guru and beg for shelter and diksha and initiation, so that he can now enter into the depth of devotional service of Vraja Bhakti. The guru said, "Lala Babu, you're not ready." What? I'm not ready? This was a jolt to him. He thought he was ready. He thought about it. Because he was so pure, he got the answer revealed from inside. What was the answer? He had traces of rag and dvesh remaining. He still had not forgiven somebody. Who was he? He thought that some time back he had a legal case with another builder of temple in Vrindavan named Lakshmi Chand Seth. This Lakshmi Chand Seth, I think, was coming from South India, going all the way to Badrinarayan to build some temples there. And Badrinarayan appeared to him when he was around the Brajmandal area, telling him that no need to come here. You build a temple in Vrindavan. So he built a South Indian temple in Vrindavan. It's equivalent of the Ranganath temple in Chennai. This temple is called Rangji temple in Vrindavan. It's just maybe few minutes walk from Govind Dev temple. Rangnath temple in Chennai, not Chennai, it's in Trichy, not Trichy. Trichy, right? Maybe somebody can Correct me, it's near Trichy. So Rangnath temple has 7 doors, but this temple has three doors and 3 courtyards. And if you go in your traditional attire of dhoti, sari, and things like that, you can go all the way to Rangnath and see him from this distance. So, Rangnath temple and Lala Babu temple share a boundary. So, when they were building the temples, there was a court case who would get the boundary. Isn't it familiar? It happens with us also. Sometimes in services too, isn't it? That I'm doing service, somebody else is doing service, and then there is a Sri Rangam. Yeah, it's in Sri Rangam. Thank you, Vaman Hari Prabhu. Yeah, near Trichy. So we come, even with good intentions, sometimes there are overlaps. So they both had good intentions. He was building Rangnath temple, he was building Krishna Chandrama temple. So anyway, court case happened and Lala Babu won the court case. So he got a little bit more land. But we may win the court cases, we may win the arguments, but we may lose the battle in terms of protecting the heart from rag and dvesh. And he figured that out. So now what's the best way? The best way is to humble ourselves. Seeking forgiveness, offering forgiveness is not optional for Vaishnavas. It is mandatory. In fact, our backyard must have, I was just talking with some devotees in the morning and we were discussing that how our backyard should have a whole well of forgiveness such that it is akshay. Akshay means it never gets empty. We can dole out as much forgiveness to anybody. Oh, take it, take it, take it. And the well is full again. Or if somebody is, and we are also ready to beg water of forgiveness from anybody and everybody, even our enemies. So Lala Babu goes up to Lakshmi Chandu Seth, and daily Lakshmi Chandu Seth would distribute prasadam to the saints. And the gossip started coming. Hey, Lala Babu is coming. Lala Babu is coming. And even Lakshmi Chand Seth was shocked. This person is coming to beg from me, my rival. Immediately, he sobered down too. That's the effect. If one party is ready, perhaps the other party, it may melt their heart too. So he came to Lala Babu giving the alms of jewelry and gold coins. And Lala Babu said, I have not come for this. I just came to get small piece of a rukhi suki as they do in Braj. Braj, thick roti called tikkar. It's made of thick atta. Sometimes it's a mixture of wheat, chickpea flour, and barley flour. Barley is called jau. This mixture of 5 kilos wheat, 1.5 kilos of chickpea flour, and half kgs of jau or barley is called bejad. Bejad ka atta. It's a bejad flour, and it's very traditional in Vrindavan. They make thick rotis, and if you go to Bhandir one or you're stranded in Govardhan, some Brajwasi family may give you a thick, nice roti with a tenti ka achar, which I got to know from some of my South Indian friends. It's gongura pickle also. It's similar to that, it's berries. So he said, I just need a small piece. That just melted both their hearts. The rag and dvesh evaporated, and he was initiated by his Gurudev. Freedom from rag and dvesh is the preparation of the field of heart before we can sow the seeds of Vraj Bhakti and expect the manjaris of Vraj Bhakti. The second is the soil. After we prepare the field with all the boundaries and nice, we lay down the soil. This soil is of Dasanu Das Seva, the Seva or the mood of servant of the servant of the servant. We might be frontliners, we might be back-end supporters, but the mood is, I'm just a servant. Somebody is asking me to be in the front, somebody is asking me to be in the background. But I'm servant of anybody connected to Vrindavan. Because this place is special. What is this place? It seems to be 2.5 hours southeast of Delhi. which you can reach in maybe 3,500 rupees cab, if the cab, you know the cab person and he is not tricking you, and just in 2.5 hours, 3 hours. But this Bhaum of Vrindavan is special because it's a city or a town made around Drishyaman Vrindavan. What is Drishyaman Vrindavan? Drishyaman Vrindavan are those items, I should not say, or those vigrahas, or those forms of transcendental Vrindavan, which Krishna and Radharani, Gopas, Gopis, and all the associates left behind when they wound up their pastimes. These were left behind. Just like when you were doing, I've been talking with many kids here and we've been talking about Arangetrams. So I know there is a stage and the stage opens and you perform Bharatnatyam and then the stage closes. It might happen that you may leave certain items outside the curtain, right? Maybe you forgot a gunguru, or an ankle bell or something else, right? So the transcendental Vrindavan is called Aprakat Vrindavan, which is everywhere, even here in our homes. But then that Aprakat Vrindavan comes outside the curtain of Mahamaya and Yogamaya when Krishna reveals his pastimes 5,000 years ago. That's called Prakat Vrindavan. But it only lasts for maybe 100, 125 years when Krishna winds down all his pastimes, even less. Vraja pastimes were even wound up quite early. But Krishna stayed for 125 years. So in 125 years, Krishna disappears. So Aprakat became Prakat. Prakat went back into Aprakat, but it left some things like the Ghunguru left outside the curtain in an Arangetram hall. What are these things which are left behind? Now let me take a poll. Anybody can think about what are some of these transcendental forms which are left behind by Krishna and Radharani. Those forms which were 5,000 years ago, they appeared, but they are still there in Vrindavan. Let me give a hint. Yeah, Ujjwala Sagya Mataji. You want to say something?
This Kundas, Prabhu, places of pastimes, Radha Kunda.
Places of pastimes. Can you be more specific? Which particular place of pastime? It starts with G.
Govardhana.
Govardhan. Okay. Nidhi 1, 2. Basically, the Brajraj, Yamuna, Govardhan, How Bilao, all these places, isn't it? And Vajranav and later Goswami, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu excavated the entire city around this Drishyaman Vrindavan. So Aprakat Vrindavan becomes Prakat. Prakat goes back to Aprakat, leaves behind Drishyaman Vrindavan like Govardhan, Yamuna, Brajraj, and then Vajranav comes and does the excavation 1. Vrindavan again disappears. Then Goswamis come and build the Vrindavan with all the deities. So what we see now is that special Bhaum Vrindavan. It is special because it is touched by the presence of that Drishyaman Vrindavan like Govardhan where Krishna played, Yamuna. It is special for that reason. It is special for also another reason that the curtain between this Bhaum Vrindavan and the Vrindavan which is beyond our eyes is very thin, very, very thin. Maybe in New York, it can be kilometers thick. Maybe in Mumbai, it could be meters thick. Some places, some Registan, some forest, it may be concrete block. But in Vrindavan, it's a thin veil, thin curtain, which can be opened by a pure devotee, which can be opened by a strong sadhana. So that's the second reason why Bhaum Vrindavan is special. And the third reason is that scriptures tell us people become special when they enter Bhaum Vrindavan. Yatra pravishto sakalopi jantu sarvam padartopi abhudaira drishya. We cannot see them. Now, suppose you are going with your spouse there and you had some little fight in the flight and then you reach there. Then Prabodhanand Saraswati is saying, Swananda Satchit Ghanatam Upaiti. Everybody becomes Swanand Satchidanand Ghana Vigraha. Tadeva Vrindavanam Ashrayantu. That Vrindavan I take shelter where everybody is special. So maybe then we can have fight in the flights, but when we enter into Vrindavan, we realize the person next to us is special. And that's why the old saints would bow down to everybody. They will look at monkeys and say, Om Hanumate Namaha. They will look at hogs and say, Om Varahaya Namaha. Such is their consciousness. And they also embrace the trees and the forests and the creepers. There is one Gaudiya, his name is Harivamsa. In Vrindavan, downtown, 3 forests are still remaining. It's all concrete, but there are 3 areas or pockets of forest still remaining. Somebody answered Nidhivan, that's one. Another is Seva Kunj. Third is Kishore One. What is Kishore One? Kishore One is a place where a deity called Yugala Kishore appeared, manifested for Hari Vyas. He was the disciple of God brother of Ishwarpuri. As Gaudiyas we know, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's guru is Ishwarpuri. Ishwarpuri's god brother, I think his name was Madhav Das, and his disciple is Hari Vyas. He was a great scholar who went around defeating people. When he went to Kashi, he thought, Arey, why to defeat scholars from all over? Just catch the best place of scholars and defeat them. So maybe like Stanford or MIT, you go to the place called Kashi where scholars abound. And he started defeating them. The scholars became scared. Arey, Kashi is called the nose of the country. Kashi, Nasika. Nose of the country. It's the nose of the tradition of knowledge in India, in Bharatavarsha. They went to the deity of Kashi, Kashi Vishwanath. Oh Vishwanath, Lord Shiva, please protect us. What are you doing? Now, what does Shiva do? Lord Shiva comes dressed as a Brahmana. And he just says one line to this scholar, Hariram Vyas, who was the Rajguru of the king of Orcha in Madhya Pradesh. The king's name was Madhukar Shah, who was also a devotee. So Hariram Vyas is carrying with his own bundle of books in the bullock cart. You know, nowadays, if we have to refer, we type on our computers or Veda base and find out references, right? Earlier, no. Earlier, they had memories, so they can exactly figure out, and then they would carry with the books. Old days. So Shiva comes to him and tells him, Baba, why are you wasting your time? What will you achieve by all these battles? Simple statement coming from the heart of a great Vaishnav, great personality. Who is this personality? Who, along with his wife, just discusses Bhagavad Katha. Such that their family has all the opposites, but they never fight. Shiva wears snakes. And the Kartikeya Savari is peacock, but they don't fight. Then Shiva's son Ganesha travels on a Mushaka, and Parvati travels on lion, but they don't fight. Because the center is Krishna Katha. All the important stotrams have come about by Shiva speaking to Parvati. So Shiva tells Hariram Vyas, changes, leaves everything, goes to Vrindavan. People are catching him, come back. He says no. Then they go to his guru, and guru, in order to show the bhakti he has for Braj Dham, tells him, yeah, you can take him. So they tell him, oh, your guru told, come back to Orcha. This personality paints his face black and he's embracing all the lata and pata, all the creepers and the plants. And people ask him, what happened to you? He said, if you go away from your relatives, it's like painting your face black, right? So I'm going away from my relatives. So I have painted my face black and I'm just embracing them. Such was the level of realization of Hariram Vyas that he saw exactly what Prabodhanand Saraswati is saying. Yatra pravishto sakalopi jantu. This Vrindavan Dham hence is so special. All the living beings are special. Therefore, the second aspect or the second thing needed to sow the seed of Vraj Bhakti is the soil of Dasanudas Seva. What was the first thing? Prepare the ground, prepare the ground with protection so that Rag and Dvesh doesn't come. The Rag and Dvesh of mad elephants of Rag and Dvesh. And the second thing is to lay down the soil of Dasanudas. Dasanudas Seva of whom? Servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of the whom? For us, it is Sri Radharani. Why? Because if we serve her, Krishna will be doubly pleased. Because as they say, in Hindi there's a saying, प्यारे का प्यारा दुगना प्यारा होता है. The beloved of the beloved is doubly beloved. It's hard to translate sometimes in English because, the idioms and phrases come in one language, but the beloved of the beloved is doubly beloved. And this is what all our acharyas are teaching. Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, Raghunath Bhatt Goswami. Because who are they? These are manjaris. Who are manjaris? In the entire Aprakat Vrindavan, the spiritual Vrindavan, where Krishna is enacting pastimes with gopis and gopas, Madhurya Bhav, as it is said in our Gaudiya literature, combines the bestness of all the other bhavs, and it's very intimate. And there are many sakhis. Some are attracted towards Krishna more, some are equally disposed towards both, but manjaris are those who have pinpointed, attentive focus of service to Sri Radha. And it is these manjaris who come as our acharyas. Rupa Manjari came as Rupa Goswami. Lavanga Manjari came as Sanatan Goswami. Rati Manjari came as Raghunath Das. Rasa Manjari came as Raghunath Bhatt. Guna Manjari, Gopal Bhatt. Vilas Manjari, Jiva Goswami. So they know the service of Sri Radha, and that's what when they come here, they establish servant of the servant of the servant of the servant, million times removed of Radha. What is Hare Krishna mantra? It has Spasht Bahumat, or the majority of what? Hare. 8 words Hare. 4 words Krishna, 4 words Rama. And Krishna and Rama love Radha. So it's like the sweeping majority of Sri Radha. Raghunath Das Goswami makes it very, very clear in his magnum opus, we can say, Sri Vilapa Kusumanjali. Anjali means it's folded hands. Kusumanjali means folded hands of offerings of flowers. And Vilap means lamentation. Why lamentation? Although he's practicing his bhakti very strongly, it is said his principles of bhakti were like lines on the stone. And that's inspiration to us, that we have to try, refine our offering, not others' offering, refine ours offering. But in the end, we also come to a situation to realize that the door will be only opened from inside. The door of Vraj Bhakti, only Krishna and Radha will open, as His Holiness Sachinandan Maharaj so nicely explains that the door will open only from inside, the last door. So he is doing vilap. He is making the offering, flower offerings of lamentation. And he's saying, "O Radharani, you may ask me to become your friend." He's saying, "Sakhyayate mama namostu satyam, nityam." That, okay, to your friendship, I bow down. And people know this expression is really not bow down. It's like a formality. Okay, it's okay, like that. But what is he saying next? Dasyasyate mama namostu satyam, rasostu satyam. But to your service, that's my greatest desire. In that I derive rasa. I am eternally servant of yours. See, such sentiment is sung by Raghunath Das Goswami, and it is also sung by our saint whom we talked about today, Hariram Vyas, but in Braj Bhasha. He's also Gaudiya. Some people think he's Radha Vallabhiya. But in the temple, Kishore one in Vrindavan, his lineage is depicted as Gaudiya. Whatever it is, his message is profound. And with your permission, I can say a few lines about his Braj poetry. किशोरी तेरे चरणन की रज पाऊं. Oh Sri Radharani, I want the dust of your lotus feet. How? By removing everybody and coming right across to you? No. He says in the mood of servant of the servant. बैठी रहूं kunjan ke kone. बैठी रहूं, I am sitting. Kunjan, the bowers, kone, in the corner. I don't want to come in the front. Servant of the servant of the servant. And what you do throughout, Shyam Radhika Gaun, that I'm singing, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So the mood of Raghunath Das Goswami is also this mood of Hariram Vyas. All are saying that the soil is of Dasanudas. And that is tantamount to humility. Mahaprabhu says, Uttama hoya apana ke mane trinadham dui prakare sahishnuta kore vrikhasam. That the person thinks himself lower than the blade of grass, and he is tolerant in two ways, like the tree. How the tree is cut and he doesn't bother, and the tree gives the fruit. And in only that way, the person is able to chant the holy name. Interestingly, Mahaprabhu says that that person is Uttama. He's great, but he still thinks himself to be lower. What's this? In Brihad Bhagavatamrit, Narad Muni tells exactly the same thing to Gopakumar. He says, well, if somebody doesn't have anything and he says, I'm low, that's honesty. But if one is Yena sadharana sakta dhama buddhi sadatmani, he has asadharan, incomparable qualities and talent, skills, whatever, still he feels, but I am servant of the servant of the servant. What is that? Sarvotkarshanvitepi syad dainyam syad buddhaistad dainyam ishyate. The learned man called that humility. Isn't that depicted in all our Goswamis? Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, great ministers, but then in the mood of the servant, following the orders of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they are humbly saying in Vrindavan. Rupa Goswami is approached by people to defeat an argument. He said, I'm not interested. Sanatan Goswami is so humility personified that he just goes to every home and they treat him like his grandfather. This quality is cultivable. Humility has a divine part and a cultivable part. Divine part is a gift in which person start feeling, while he is even connected with Krishna, start feeling very, very far away from Krishna. But the cultivable humility in which one places himself or herself, Dasa, it is cultivable. And Narad Muni is telling that to Gopakumar in Brihad Bhagavatamrita. How? Yaya vache haya danyam matya chasthairyam ityetat. Matya chasthairyam etitat. By your voice, by your gestures, by your thoughts, try to fix yourself in utter humility. Because this utter humility is tantamount to the Vraja Bhakti of Gopis. Gopis were the perfect examples, and for us, Manjaris, as we spoke about. When Krishna sees that quality, when we cultivate, try our best to cultivate that attitude, seeking the blessings of our acharyas, like a Manjari. A Manjari sits on the top of the Tulsi tree. It's called Manjari. The Manjari, we talked about the Manjari Bhav, or the Bhav of Dasanudas, is very appropriate with the name Manjari, because the Manjari is the resting on the top of the plant, but it's independent of the plant. It's totally dependent on the Tulsi plant. Like that, when we are utterly dependent on our parampara and situate ourselves in the mood of das, Krishna uses us. And we may not even realize how he will use us to serve his purpose. Our example is of Srila Prabhupada, isn't it? He was the worldwide Acharya. He celebratedly established the desire of Mahaprabhu. Yet when you ask him, he would say, I am the servant of all. As a leader, he would say, I am the servant of all. As the God brother, he didn't have much God brother association, so he would come and spend time with his disciples. Hari Shauri Prabhu would say that this is the best thing we found about Srila Prabhupada, that he had all the time for ourselves. We were so junior in age and realization, yet Prabhupada did that. As a teacher, he was concerned about people. He is the Jagat Guru Acharya, but yet for every rank file devotee, he was concerned. And as a practitioner, he had integrity. He wanted to refine his bhakti. He was strict with the disciples, but also not so strict. People had trouble, and he said, it's okay. When people were leaving the movement and other devotees were criticizing those who were leaving the movement, Prabhupada said, why are you making them hard? Why you are making it hard for them to come back? So as a leader, as a God brother, a guru, as a teacher, as a practitioner, Prabhupada showed this greatness of the littleness. The Dasanudas bhav is same as this quality of utter humility. And this utter humility, although it is littleness, but it is great. And it is the greatness of this littleness which just forces Krishna to open the door from inside. The person could be very simple, or the person could be right on the front line. But it is that mood which kind of Krishna grabs that person and takes him all the way to the inner depths of the secrets of Vraja Bhakti. And that's our hope, that one day, first by creating this protection from Rag and Dvesh, from the mad elephants of Rag and Dvesh, then laying the soil of utter humility, littleness, we can get this great seed of lobh. Let me repeat. First, by creating this protection around the field of our heart, so that the mad elephants of Rag and Dvesh do not enter our hearts. Then we lay this soil of utter humility, of littleness. We can expect that one day Krishna would give us this great seed of lobha. What is lobha? Lobha is not just an inclination to hear Krishna Leela, or intellectual inclination to feel, oh, I like Krishna Leela. That's good. But lobha is something more. Tat tad bhavu madhuryadhi shrute dhi yadapekshate nacha shastram nacha yuktam cha tat lobhotpatti lakshanam. When we hear the beautiful pastimes of Krishna, we are hearing it, we are reading in Bhagavatam, we are reading in Krishna book, but something starts happening in the heart. We develop a specific inclination as we begin our lecture today of one of those four bhavas, Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya, Madhurya, following in the wake of one of the paradigmatic individuals, the Ragatmika Bhaktas, those who are in the pastimes, like Madhumangal, how he jokes. And we feel like, oh, I want to follow in the wake of such Priya Narma Bhaktas. Or when the gopis, when the boat vihar is happening, Krishna is along with all the gopis, and then Krishna tells them, throw off all your jewelry, it's becoming heavy. And the Lalita and Vishaka said, throw them off or throw you off from the boat. And when you hear this, something happens in the heart, and you feel like, idam mama bhuyat, as Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, oh, this should happen to me. That is the great seed of bhakti. And then maybe we'll start appreciating the pastimes like anything. The name will be relishable, and the name will produce approach to Leela, Guna, Roop, Parikara, the associates, and our seva in that Parikara. With that, I rest my case. It's 9. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. I don't know if we have time. I thought it's somebody told me here we are on time, and I like that. So if there are any questions, comments, reflections, suggestions, feedback, we can take if Ujjwal Rasagya Mataji so desires.
Prabhu, that was such a wonderful Katha, Prabhu. Wonderful Katha. And last one, it was such a gem, Prabhu. Lobha. Oh, wish that could happen to me. The greed. That was wonderful. It's not at an intellectual analysis level. Thank you for that. And, to relish the Katha that you have given so far. You have started with Acharya's Narada Muni, how he rescues the fallen souls, and then the Harinama, potency of Harinama, even at the tip of the tongue. And how fortunate are we that we all get together and we could chant together. Such a great fortune, Samkirtana. And the definition of Vairag, Visesha Rupena Raga, that was wonderful. That is very unique fragrance of devotion when as opposed to the jnani's detachment. So that was very nice. And the qualities to be in Vrindavan. That with that Visesha Rupena Raga to Krishna, then Dainya, which is humility. This is very wonderful, Prabhu. Thank you. And maybe we can ask dear devotees, if you have any questions or comments or anything for Harivamsa Prabhu, please do so. And I see Aditya Prabhu is also here. Maybe
Yes.
Prabhu also could welcome you. Aditya Prabhu. And dear devotees, you also please go ahead if you have any questions.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
dear Aditya.
Hare Krishna,
Thank you, Ujjwal
Prabhuji.
Mataji.
Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
All grace
I'm
to
really sorry,
Prabhupada.
bro. I had another class, and as soon as I finished, I switched over to this Zoom. So sorry I missed the first part of your class. But the last part I heard itself was so wonderful. So I hope this is recorded, and I'd like to hear the rest of it. The point about Dainya and about Lobha. Very nice, bro. Thank you so much. We're looking forward to more wonderful Hari Katha and association this weekend. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
I'm very grateful to you. Thank you for orchestrating and allowing me to serve in this humble way. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. And thank you, Ujjwal Mataji. You summarized it so nicely. I'm amazed. Thank you very much.
Pleasure is
And
ours.
anybody?
Yeah, dear devotees, please go ahead.
Yeah, any reflections also? Reflections means it's not a question, but something which stuck with you or something which you like to share, which is related. I'll feel encouraged.
Yeah, it feels complete to have Paraspara. So, dear devotees, anything that has touched your heart, please do share.
Prabhu, one point that I really liked is the point how you said that Dainya has two aspects. One is the point where it is the mercy that descends, and the other part is what we actually cultivate, that mood of humility. So I really was thinking on that point because, we understand we read again and again the importance of humility in our practice of bhakti, but to understand that how our cultivation of, that aspect of humility would attract the mercy aspect of humility to descend. I was really thinking on that point. So thank you so much for your point. And if you want to comment more of how both of them actually, work in a life of a sadhaka.
Well, we're just trying. I am just light years away. But what I've heard and seen, it's certainly the cultival part is in our hands. There are times and moments in which we might have to present ourselves, say in front line or in situation which may externally not appear to be like humble role. Although in our heart we have that humble role. But there are maybe 90% of the situations where it's not needed. You see what I'm trying to say? I'll tell you a funny story. One devotee would always sign his, undersigned as in the mail. He would say, "Your menial servant." That's such a nice mood. But somebody came to him, maybe he was from a different culture, and said, "You don't have to write menial about it. Just write servant." And then devotee found it literally shattering. Why I can't be menial about it, right? Then it reminds me of when I went to some Israel, and then I would say everybody Toda Rabba, which means thank you very much. And then one person came to me, Israeli, he told me, "You don't need very much about it, huh? Just say Toda, thank you." I felt, why can't I say thank you very much? Prabhupada would say everybody thank you very much. So these small things comprise of 95%, maybe a lot of situations in our life where we really don't need to be even externally what it is required of us in the 5% of the situation. So there is ample opportunity, I guess, in our day-to-day dealings and things like that to cultivate that littleness. And that really attracts, I think, Krishna, because he feels that, oh, he wants me more than the other things which are broken glasses. And he is a jealous lover. Krishna is absolutely a jealous lover. So in Braj we say, Prem gali ati sakri jame bhayo na do. The kunja galis of the love are very constricted. Two things won't come. And definitely ego which gets puffed up and takes up everything, that won't allow anybody. So I think that it appears to me that cultivable humility will attract. And this section, Prabhu, in Brihad Bhagavatamrita, Gopi Parandhan Prabhu has written a commentary on it based on Sanatan Goswami's commentary, Digdarshini, and he mentions this very interesting play. So, do you have any thoughts further on that? Yeah.
No, Prabhu, thank you so much. I like that point about most of the time we can actually express that mood of humility, and that's like even tiny differences of like our mood will actually enhance that mood of humility. Yeah. So thank you.
Thank you. More thoughts, comments, reflections?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. This is Suvarna Radhika.
Hare Krishna. Yes.
Prabhu, I did join late, but I had one question. You explained that on the top layer, it's our goal is to remove raga and vesha, and then below that the soil is like cultivating dasa anudasa, the mood of dasa anudasa. Correct? And I was thinking as you were speaking that I feel that in the process of at least thinking oneself as dasa anudasa, after that only am I able to get rid of some sort of attachment or hate when I'm thinking myself as the servant. So is that is it the soil first and then that, or?
Well, both the things go on. Sometimes the elephant just break the protective fence also. So we have to be vigilant, as they say, sadhu savdhan, isn't it? Yeah. So both go hand in hand, isn't it? But when I mentioned this thing of rag and dvesh, that's just very basic, isn't it? Because even before thinking about being das, we have generally tendencies of hate and aversion so much, and it's coming from all our choices in previous lives and this life, that it just makes entering into any semblance of das very difficult, isn't it? Like, oh, why should I serve him? Why should I serve her? Why should I? Like that. Those things can come. That's why I mentioned this quality. So first making that protective barrier, and of course, then it's both has to go hand in hand. Thank you for pointing that out. Does that help you, Suvarna Radhika ji?
Yes, Prabhu. I think it's a very simultaneous process for me.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. More questions, comments, reflections?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much for the Katha.
Hare Krishna.
One, maybe a stupid question out here, Prabhu. You said we have to protect our heart, and I was curious, why are we not talking about protecting the mind? I was trying to. Is there a
Okay.
difference of how we take
Okay.
that? It's like protecting our mind and intelligence because that is what drives into the heart. So I'm just curious, like we say,
Okay.
yeah. So I'm just
Acha,
curious.
theek hai. Thank you for pointing that out. See, the verse which I quoted was Rakshata Koshanam api kosham hridayam. So from the hridayam we are taking heart. But here these are, I know many of you are maybe IT people. We have something called operator overloading, isn't it? The variable X becomes 10 and then 100, then 1 also, like that. So the heart here is used for our entire subtle framework, chitta, ahanka, antakaran chatushtayam. So just our whatever inner thing is there, whatever inner apparatus is there, that has to be protected. Maybe the emotional part, maybe the mati part, the wrong intelligence should not corrupt us. And the emotional part of the attachment and aversion. Having said that, I would like to say that it is the emotion sometimes you have to be very careful about, because inherently we are emotional beings, and oftentimes they trouble us more. Now, how to do it? Well, we can fortify the intelligence, we can take association, we can associate with those who have simple heart and good Shraddha, because Shraddha and Bhakti have a hopping quality. Bhaktya sanjataya bhaktya bibhrat tutpula kam tanuh. This verse comes 11th canto, 3rd chapter, right? Where it is saying that bhakti hops from one person to another. It's a gift. Shraddha is a gift. When we associate with people who have more Shraddha, Shraddha comes. When we associate people with Bhavukas, Bhava comes. When we associate people with Premika Bhaktas, Prema comes. So how should we protect us from these emotions of Rag and Dvesh? Maybe we have to fortify the intelligence. Maybe we have to associate with those who have good Shraddha so that Ahankar will go down. Basically, in a nutshell, it's a whole internal apparatus, but the nucleus of it is these attachment aversion. Does that make sense, or have confused you
Yes.
further?
No,
Okay.
it does. Yes, no.
It does. Thank you. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Or more Hare Krishna. Thank you, Nitai Gunamani. Prabhu. Yeah. Okay. More thoughts? I hope to be in personal setting, because when we are in personal setting, then we generally do like Vaisheshika Prabhu does, Nachare Amar Man, and then somebody raises their hand. Or we do Goranga 10, Goranga 9. So maybe we can call it a day, Ujjwala Mataji, whatever you decide.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. And dear devotees, thank you all for your sincere association with us, and together with your Katha, Prabhu. We are blessed this evening. And
I feel happy and nourished in all of your association. If virtual is like that, I can imagine.
And tomorrow you'll be giving the Katha, Bhagavatam Katha at the temple, right?
Yes.
Yes. And we have the flyer, and the flyer has the details to continuing from tomorrow. Dear devotees, thank you all so very much. And Harivamsa Prabhu, thank you so very much. We'll see you in.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyascha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo
Namo
okay, sorry, I was just going to mention that tomorrow is the disappearance of Srila Rupa Goswami. So tomorrow morning, Prabhu at 6:30 a.m. will give a talk on the glories of Srila Rupa Goswami. Thank you. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Looking forward to more Katha.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Dhanavad.
Thank you all very much.